Did you know that nearly 55 million people around the world are living with dementia? One new case is diagnosed every 3 seconds. Even more alarming is the fact that dementia is now the 7th leading cause of death globally. But here's what most people don't realize. In many cases, this decline in brain function isn't due to age or genetics alone. Shocking new studies reveal that some of the most commonly prescribed medications, yes, the very ones sitting in your medicine cabinet, could be quietly sabotaging your brain, especially if you're over 60. These drugs may be shrinking your brain, accelerating memory loss, and even the onset of Alzheimer's disease. The most frightening part is that you may be taking them daily without knowing what they're doing to your brain. In this video, we're exposing 9 popular medications that have been scientifically linked to rapid dementia symptoms. Make sure to stay until the end because the #1 drug is the most dangerous of all. It's widely prescribed and few people know the huge damage it causes. Plus, we won't leave you hanging. At the very end, we'll reveal 3 scientifically proven foods that can actually prevent dementia and protect your brain health naturally. Before we begin, let us know in the comments below where you're watching from, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. Number 9. Medication number 9 to antihistamines. First generation. Many seniors rely on over-the-counter antihistamines like diphenhydramine, often found in Benadryl, to deal with allergies, colds, or trouble sleeping. While they might seem harmless, these drugs belong to a class called Anticholinergics. These medications block a neurotransmitter in your brain called acetylcholine. Think of acetylcholine as a messenger that helps your brain cells communicate with each other, especially when it comes to memory and learning. Without enough of it, brain fog sets in, memory slips become more frequent, and over time, brain shrinkage can occur. One study, published in JAMA Internal Medicine, found that seniors taking strong anticholinergics daily for just 3 years had a 54% increased risk of developing dementia. What's really scary is how subtle it starts. You might notice you're forgetting appointments or misplacing keys more often, but over time, that mild forgetfulness can snowball into full-blown cognitive decline. Since many of these antihistamines are sold without a prescription, people assume they're safe. But for aging brains, the cost can be devastating. Number 8. Medication. Number 8. Benzodiazepines. If you've ever struggled with anxiety, insomnia, or muscle spasms, there's a good chance your doctor has prescribed a benzodiazepine. Drugs like Valium, Ativan, Klonopin, Xanax, or alprazolam are all in this class. While they can offer fast relief and help people sleep or relax, the way they affect the brain over time is far from gentle. Benzodiazepines work by increasing the activity of a neurotransmitter called GABA, which slows down brain activity to create a calming effect. But the brain doesn't like to be slowed down indefinitely. Long-term use of these drugs has been linked to memory problems, confusion, and even structural changes in the brain. A study in the BMJ showed that people who took benzodiazepines for more than 3 months had a 51% higher risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. What's more troubling is that many seniors are prescribed these medications for sleep, then continue using them for years without realizing the neurological toll. You may start feeling more tired during the day, your reaction times may slow, and you might find it harder to follow conversations. These are not just signs of aging, they're signals that your brain might be in trouble. Number 7. Medication number 7. Proton pump inhibitors. Millions of older adults take medications like omeprazole, Prilosec, lansoprazole, Prevacid, pantoprazole, Protonix, or esomeprazole, Nexium, to reduce stomach acid and relieve heartburn or acid reflux. While these drugs are very effective in treating gastrointestinal issues, they may be doing something far worse behind the scenes. Proton pump inhibitors have been linked in several studies to cognitive decline and an increased risk of dementia. The theory is that by blocking stomach acid, they may reduce the body's ability to absorb essential nutrients like vitamin B12 and magnesium, both of which are crucial for brain function. Low B12 levels can lead to confusion, memory loss, and even neurological damage. One German study involving more than 73,000 seniors found that those regularly using PPIs had a 44% increased risk of dementia. Seniors often use these medications for years without ever reevaluating their need, not knowing they may be starving their brains of key nutrients. If you've noticed your thinking becoming slower, or if you feel more confused after meals, the culprit might not be the food. It could be the pill you took before eating. Number 6. Medication. Number 6. Antipsychotics. These powerful drugs, such as risperidone, Risperdal, aripiprazole, Abilify, quetiapine, Seroquel, and clozapine, Clozaril, are often used in older adults to manage behavioral symptoms in conditions like dementia, schizophrenia, or bipolar disorder. But ironically, even though they're sometimes prescribed to calm agitation in people with memory loss, they may actually be making the problem worse. Antipsychotics work by altering levels of dopamine and serotonin in the brain, which are two chemicals key to motivation, pleasure, and cognition. While this can stabilize extreme behaviors, it also dulls brain activity overall. The result is often sedation, emotional flatness, and, more dangerously, a higher risk of accelerated cognitive decline. The FDA has even issued a black box warning for these medications, especially when used in elderly patients with dementia, citing increased risks of death. But even in seniors without dementia, long-term use has been linked to significant reductions in brain function. Patients may become more withdrawn, have trouble following conversations, or lose the ability to perform simple tasks they once did easily. What begins as mild confusion can escalate into full dependency and loss of independence. It's one of the most tragic ironies in medicine, using a drug to calm the brain only to find it may be erasing it. Number 5. Medication number 5. Sleep aids, Z-drugs. Sleep becomes more difficult as we age, and many seniors turn to sleep aids like Zolpidem, Ambien, Azopiclone, Lunesta, Zaleplon, Sonata, or Zopiclone to help them drift off. These medications are known as Z-drugs, and while they might help you fall asleep, they're not as gentle as they seem. They work by slowing brain activity, mimicking natural sleep chemistry. But they do it in a way that interferes with your brain's natural rhythms and memory-forming processes. When you sleep, your brain goes through different stages, including deep sleep and REM, which are essential for memory consolidation and mental restoration. Z-drugs disrupt this cycle, leading to lower quality sleep, even if you're unconscious for 8 hours. Worse, they have been associated with sleepwalking, confusion, and next-day brain fog. A study in the British Medical Journal found that seniors taking Z-drugs had a significantly higher risk of developing dementia and even falls due to impaired alertness. You might notice you feel groggier in the morning or more forgetful about basic things like names or directions. That's not just poor sleep. That's your brain struggling to keep up after being sedated night after night. For seniors already vulnerable to memory loss, these pills may be nudging them toward long-term cognitive decline. Number 4. Medication. Number 4. Antidepressants, Tricyclic. Depression is not uncommon in older adults, especially with increased isolation, health issues, or the loss of loved ones. Unfortunately, some of the older classes of antidepressants, specifically tricyclic antidepressants like amitriptyline and doxepin, can come with a dark side. These drugs also have strong anticholinergic effects, which means they block acetylcholine, the same brain chemical involved in memory and thinking, that we mentioned earlier. This class of medications is particularly risky for the elderly, as the aging brain is already more sensitive to changes in neurotransmitter levels. What starts as a mild antidepressant can slowly impair cognition, cause drowsiness, and worsen focus over time. These symptoms can mimic or accelerate dementia. A 2015 study published in JAMA showed a dose-dependent relationship between anticholinergic drugs like tricyclics and dementia, meaning the more you take and the longer you use them, the higher your risk. The problem is many doctors continue prescribing them to seniors despite the availability of safer options. So if you or someone you love is taking a tricyclic antidepressant and showing signs of confusion, memory problems, or reduced attention span, it may not be the depression at all. It could be the medication causing the very symptoms it's supposed to help with. Medication number three, bladder control medications. Overactive bladder is one of those annoying and sometimes embarrassing problems that many seniors deal with. Medications like oxybutynin, ditropan, tolterodine, Detrol, solifenacin, Vesicare, and trospium are frequently prescribed to help control urges and reduce accidents. But what's not so widely known is that these drugs are also powerful anticholinergics, which again block acetylcholine in the brain. This disruption has a direct effect on cognitive performance. In fact, a study conducted at the University of California, San Francisco, found that older adults who took these medications had a significantly smaller brain volume and performed worse on memory tests compared to those not taking them. Researchers noted actual brain shrinkage in areas responsible for memory, learning, and cognition. What's truly alarming is how many seniors are put on these medications for months or even years without reassessing their mental effects. If you've noticed more confusion, trouble planning daily tasks, or simply feeling like you can't think as clearly as before, it might be time to look at what's managing your bladder and what it might be doing to your brain. Number two, medication. Number two, statins. Statins like atorvastatin, Lipitor, simvastatin, Zocor, and rosuvastatin Crestor are among the most prescribed medications for seniors, commonly used to lower cholesterol and reduce the risk of heart disease. But while protecting your heart, they might be putting your brain in real danger. Cholesterol is often painted as the villain, but your brain actually needs a certain amount of it to function properly. In fact, the brain contains about 25% of the body's total cholesterol, which is essential for building and maintaining neurons, the cells that carry information throughout the brain. Statins lower cholesterol not only in the blood, but also in the brain, and this can interfere with the production of important neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which help regulate mood, memory, and learning. Some patients on statins report feeling mentally foggy, forgetful, or unable to concentrate. A study published in the journal Pharmacotherapy found that 75% of patients who experienced memory problems saw improvement after stopping statins. This doesn't mean statins are evil, they save lives. But if you're experiencing new memory issues while taking them, it might be worth having a conversation with your doctor about alternatives or dosage. Medication number one, anticholinergic combination medications. We've reached the number one most dangerous class of medications linked to rapid dementia in seniors, anticholinergic combination drugs. These aren't just one type of pill. They're medications that combine multiple anticholinergic effects into one tablet or regimen. For example, cold and flu medications that combine diphenhydramine with decongestants, or gastrointestinal drugs that contain scopolamine and atropine, or even muscle relaxers like cyclobenzaprine. The cumulative impact of these drugs is where the true danger lies. When taken together or over time, they create a snowball effect in the brain, depleting acetylcholine to such low levels that memory, learning, focus, and even basic functions begin to break down. One of the most compelling studies on this topic followed 3,434 older adults over a 10-year period and found that those with high cumulative use of anticholinergic medications had a 54% increased risk of dementia. This was regardless of whether they stopped the drugs years before symptoms appeared. These medications can essentially act like slow poisons to the brain, especially when mixed. The tricky part is that they're found in everything from cough syrups to sleep aids to anti-nausea pills. That's why seniors often don't even know they're taking multiple anticholinergics at once, and that's why this group of drugs sits at the top of the danger list. It's silent, it's sneaky, and it affects millions. Now that we've walked through the hidden dangers of these medications, let's switch gears to something more hopeful. Research shows that certain natural foods can actively support brain health, reduce inflammation, and even lower the risk of cognitive decline. Here are the top 3 standout foods that every senior should consider adding to their diet. Food number 3, blueberries. You may have heard before that blueberries are often referred to as brain berries. These small, vibrant fruits are loaded with antioxidants, particularly anthocyanins, which help fight oxidative stress in the brain. Oxidative stress is like rust building up in your brain cells, damaging them over time. Blueberries have been shown in studies to improve memory and delay brain aging by up to 2.5 years. In one study from the University of Cincinnati, older adults who consumed blueberry juice daily showed significant improvements in learning and memory tests within just 12 weeks. They're easy to add to cereal, smoothies, or just snack on during the day, and every bite is like armor for your brain. Food number 2, fatty fish. Fatty fish, especially salmon, sardines, and mackerel, are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA, which is a major structural component of the brain. DHA helps maintain the integrity of neurons, supports communication between brain cells, and reduces inflammation that can damage tissue over time. A meta-analysis in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that people who ate fish at least once a week had a 60% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's compared to those who rarely or never did. And it's not just about prevention. Omega-3s can even help slow progression in those who already have mild cognitive impairment. Just 2 servings of fatty fish per week can make a major difference in your cognitive health food. Gnome 1. Leafy greens. Leafy greens, particularly kale, spinach, and collard greens, are packed with vitamin K, lutein, folate, and beta-carotene. Each of these nutrients plays a crucial role in protecting brain cells, enhancing memory, and supporting long-term cognitive health. A study published in Neurology found that people who ate 1 to 2 servings of leafy greens per day had the cognitive ability of someone 11 years younger than their actual age. That's not just staying sharp, that's turning back the clock on your brain. You can sauté them, add them to soups, or blend them into smoothies. However you do it, these greens are like fuel for a sharper, more resilient mind. In conclusion, if you're a senior or someone caring for an aging loved one, this information is crucial. We often trust medications to help us feel better, sleep better, or calm down, but sometimes those very pills are quietly harming the most vital organ of all, your brain. The scariest part is how subtle it all begins. A little forgetfulness, a missed appointment, struggling to recall a word. These aren't just signs of getting older, they might be red flags waving at full speed. The good news is that knowledge is power. Now that you know which medications carry the biggest risks, you can take action. Talk to your doctor, explore alternatives, and support your brain with the right foods because dementia doesn't happen overnight, but stopping it starts today. Now we want to hear from you. Have you or someone you know experienced memory problems while taking any of these medications? What foods have you added to your diet to protect your brain? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.